Hi there guys, I hope you are having a good day. Grab yourself a cup of tea and let's talk some boxing. Now, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury 100% on according to Tyson Fury. So this is exciting news and hopefully the announcement will come very soon. Now Bob Arum has explained they are still yet to receive the paperwork for something to do with the site deal. So therefore that is the reason why the announcement hasn't actually come, and that is why Tyson Fury has said it's 100% done, and we are still without that official announcement. So the announcement will come. I know we've been saying that for an extremely long time now, but the announcement will come because Tyson Fury has explained that it is 100% done, aside from that situation with that bit of paperwork. That is what Bob Arum has explained anyway, but when that's done, the fight is on. So I'm kind of skeptical to say that it will be announced this week, because how many times have we heard that? But you would imagine that it will be announced at least by the end of the week. You would hope anyway. And it's August 14th in Saudi Arabia. And according to Eddie Hearn, when he done an interview recently, he explained that construction has begun for the arena to stage this fight. So things are really moving in the right direction now. In fact, they should be there. I mean, Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury will likely be starting their training camps. In fact, they've probably already started them in preparation for this fight. Well, we are about 12 or 13 weeks out, so training will begin very soon. Obviously, they don't want to burn out. That has been the problem in the build-up to trying to get this fight done for Eddie Hearn and those behind the scenes, is they don't want their fighter to burn out in preparations for a fight, because it was previously rumoured it will be in June, then it was moved back to July, now it will happen in August. So the worry is that if both fighters are training very hard in the build up to a fight they think is going to happen in June or July, then it gets moved to August, there could be cause for concern about how much training they are actually doing and how tough it will be on that fighter. But I would imagine that Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have been wise to that, and they know not to go into their training camp until they know the date. I mean, of course they know they are working towards a fight with one another, and I would imagine they are both working on things behind the scenes to make sure that they have the right game plan and they are able to execute it in the ring when the fight comes. Now let's go into detail a little bit about the site deal and the final figure apparently for AJ versus Fury. Apparently it is reportedly $155 million according to ESPN. 75 for Joshua, 75 for Fury, 5 million for expenses, undercard. So there we go, that is the site deal for AJ versus Fury. Obviously 75 guaranteed each, 50-50 split, and 5 million for other expenses such as the undercard. Now, of course, finances is always a big stumbling block when trying to make a fight like this, and that was something that was agreed very early on in negotiations. Not necessarily the specific sum of money, but just 50-50 split straight down the middle. Both fighters get the same purse, and that way it's fair, because if they get into a dispute about who's worth more, Tyson Fury believes he's worth more, AJ believes he's worth more, then you can see the problem. No fight is going to be made because both fighters believe they bring more to the table when it comes to that side anyway, when it comes to the broadcasting side, and how many eyes they can bring to this fight. So there was never going to be a fight unless they agreed 50-50. That was agreed very early on, and we can see that in the split from the site deal, that they are going straight down the middle, and of course there will be 5 million set aside for other expenses. Now, going back to the training situation, there is of course the situation with Rob McCracken for Anthony Joshua, and apparently he would not be able to be there if the fight was on July 24th or July 31st, because that is around the Olympics, and that would be a problem for Rob McCracken. Now, if it's on August 14th, which it is, then he's able to be in the corner for Anthony Joshua. Joshua even kind of put it out there that he's loyal to the soil or something like that on his Instagram, and there was a picture of him and Rob McCracken. So that kind of tells you he's not willing to leave or part ways with Rob McCracken due to a situation with the Olympics and the GB team. So Rob McCracken will remain as head coach to AJ in preparation for Tyson Fury. It is just about the fact that for a certain period of time, he might not be present in AJ's camp. And of course, that would be the chunk of time during AJ's training camp when the Olympics were taking place. Now, I guess a question we could ask is it better for Rob McCracken to be there for the full camp and not there on fight night, or there for some of the camp, then miss a bit, but be there for fight night? Which one is better? Well, it just depends on the fighter, I would imagine. I mean, most fighters would rather have their head coach, someone they trust and know that they can get them out of a sticky situation. They would rather have them in their corner on fight night. I mean, Rob McCracken was integral in calming Anthony Joshua down and finding the things that would work against Vladimir Klitschko when he struggled in that fight. So when you have that kind of trainer that is that important to AJ, then it's probably better that he is in that corner. Of course, he cannot fight for Anthony Joshua, but he can give him very valuable advice, and he knows how to calm Anthony Joshua down to get him working the fundamentals again. Just like he did in the Klitschko fight. I know that Anthony Joshua is the one fighting, so he must be the one to overcome the obstacles in the ring. Rob McCracken cannot do that for him. So AJ was showing his toughness in the Klitschko fight, but Rob McCracken was always there in the corner after 3 minutes to give him advice to get him back on track. And that is very important, given Anthony Joshua was in his 19th fight and unifying the heavyweight division against Klitschko. So that is an extremely tough situation for him to be in, to knock his opponent down, to believe he's won the fight, because Anthony Joshua said he thought after he knocked Klitschko down, he believed he'd won. But then he took himself out of the fight. He had to come back in after Klitschko wasn't going anywhere. Then Joshua was dropped himself in round 6. So having a good trainer in your corner, someone that he trusts, is very important in that kind of situation for someone who was as inexperienced as Joshua was during that part of his career. So at the moment we don't really know how it is going to work, but you would imagine that Rob McCracken will be there for some of the training camp, and he will definitely be in the corner for AJ in his fight against Tyson Fury. I think that will be very important to Anthony Joshua. We do know about Tyson Fury's training situation. He will be trained again by Sugar Hill, and that is going to be in America, I believe, because Tyson Fury is still out there, and I wouldn't imagine he'd travel back to the UK to start a training camp. So I would imagine that Tyson Fury will train in the US, then travel to Saudi Arabia for the fight. I'm not sure if Andy Lee is going to be a part of his training team. I would imagine that he would be. It's just that he's taken on Joseph Parker, and therefore his obligation and his time is going to be with Joseph Parker, not necessarily to Tyson Fury, because obviously Tyson Fury's head coach is Sugar Hill. Andy Lee is the head coach of Joseph Parker. I'm not sure how that will work, but I would imagine Andy Lee will be a part of Tyson Fury's team in preparations for AJ. So guys, August 14th, confirmed by Tyson Fury, this fight is on. Minus a few little documents here and there, this fight will be announced very, very soon. We've said that before, of course, but given what Tyson Fury has said, we are closer than ever. Guys, drop your thoughts on this in the comments below. Also leave a like and grab that subscribe button. Thanks guys.